Welcome to the world of terror, where every shadow hides a secret and every creak of the floorboards sends chills down your spine. Tonight, we're diving into something truly unsettling: 10 disturbing true Halloween horror stories. These aren't tales from a book or scenes from a horror movie. These are real stories, experienced by real people. So, get comfortable if you can, and prepare for an hour of spine-tingling horror. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe for more terrifying content. If you love scary stories, hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And as always, let us know in the comments which story kept you up at night. Story 1. The Haunted Halloween Party. Our first story comes from a Halloween party that was supposed to be all fun and games, until the supernatural decided to crash. Imagine this: a large gathering, friends dressed in costumes, and laughter echoing through a beautiful old mansion. But as the night wore on, something strange happened. People started feeling a chill in the air, a presence that wasn't invited. Some swear they saw figures that didn't belong to anyone at the party. One guest even vanished for hours, only to return with no memory of where he had been. Was it just the atmosphere of Halloween playing tricks on their minds, or did something sinister make an appearance? Story 2. The Disappearing Trick-or-Treater. Next, we have the story of a small town where one Halloween night, a child went missing while trick-or-treating. It was a normal night, kids running from door to door, collecting candy. But when a little boy in a ghost costume failed to return home, panic set in. Neighbors searched, the police were called, but the boy was never found. Years later, some people still claim to see a small figure in a ghost costume wandering the streets on Halloween night, always disappearing before they can get too close. Is it the lost boy, doomed to roam forever in search of his way home? Story 3. The Cursed Halloween Costume. In this story, we venture into the realm of cursed objects. A young woman purchased a vintage Halloween costume from a second-hand store. It was a beautiful, yet haunting, old dress. She wore it to a Halloween ball, and that's when things took a dark turn. That night, she began feeling strange, like she was no longer in control of her actions. Her friends noticed a change too. A dark aura seemed to surround her. After that night, she burned the dress, but the nightmares and hallucinations continued for years. Was it the costume, or something far more sinister that attached itself to her? Story 4. The Haunted House on Elm Street. On the outskirts of a quiet neighborhood stood an abandoned house that everyone avoided, especially on Halloween. It was rumored to be haunted by the spirit of a former resident who died under mysterious circumstances. One Halloween night, a group of teenagers decided to explore the house, armed with flashlights and bravado. Inside, they found strange markings on the walls, heard whispers that seemed to come from nowhere, and one of them even claimed to have seen a figure standing in the shadows. They fled the house, but that night, all of them reported strange dreams, and one never spoke about what he saw again. Story 5. The Halloween Seance Gone Wrong. Seances are a popular activity during Halloween, but this next story will make you think twice before trying to contact the other side. A group of friends gathered on Halloween night to perform a seance in an old, supposedly haunted house. Everything seemed fine at first, but as the night progressed, the atmosphere grew heavy. The candles flickered, strange noises echoed through the room, and one of the friends began speaking in a voice that wasn't their own. The seance ended in chaos, with everyone fleeing the house. Was it a spirit trying to communicate, or had they accidentally invited something dark into their world? Story 6. The Eerie Legend of the Halloween Woods. In a small town, there is a patch of woods that locals avoid, especially on Halloween. There's an old legend that anyone who enters the woods on that night never returns. The story goes that a long time ago, a group of children disappeared in those very woods during a Halloween scavenger hunt. Since then, eerie noises have been heard at night, and shadowy figures have been spotted lurking just out of sight. The woods have become a place of fear, but is it just the power of a local legend, or is something truly hiding in those trees? Story 7. The Uninvited Guest at the Halloween Gathering. What would you do if you were at a Halloween party and suddenly realized there was someone there who shouldn't be? That's exactly what happened to the people in our next story. At a small gathering of friends, everything seemed normal until they noticed a person in the corner of the room who no one could identify. They wore a costume that obscured their face, and despite attempts to engage them in conversation, they remained silent. As the night went on, the figure disappeared without a trace. To this day, no one knows who or what they were. Story 8. The Disappearing Car on Halloween Night. Our next story takes us to a quiet country road on Halloween night. A man was driving home when he saw a car parked on the side of the road with its hazard lights blinking. He slowed down to offer help, but as he approached, the car simply vanished into thin air. Confused and shaken, he continued driving, only to see the same car further down the road, again disappearing as he neared it. Was it a ghostly vehicle from another time, or something far stranger? Story 9. The Halloween Night That Turned Deadly. Not all Halloween nights end in fun and games. In this story, a group of college students decided to explore a reportedly haunted building on campus. What started as a fun night of ghost hunting quickly turned into a nightmare. Strange noises, flickering lights, and an overwhelming feeling of dread sent them running from the building. But for one of them, the fear didn't end there. The next day, they were found dead under mysterious circumstances, with no clear cause of death. Was it a tragic coincidence, or did the spirit of the haunted building claim another victim? Story 10. The Ghostly Trick-or-Treater. Our final story is about a ghostly trick-or-treater who has been seen year after year in a small neighborhood. Every Halloween, at the same time, a child in an old-fashioned costume appears at the door of a particular house, silently asking for candy. The owners of the house, curious and a little scared, decided to follow the child one year, only to watch them disappear before their very eyes. Is this a spirit reliving their last Halloween, or is there something darker at play? And that concludes our 10 disturbing true Halloween horror stories. Do you dare to go out this Halloween night, knowing what might be lurking in the shadows? Or perhaps you'll think twice before exploring that old, abandoned house at the edge of town. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the dark side of Halloween.